It's not all that different from the way the Indians tell it. In their legends, the very first man, Evia, wakened deep in the caves. High above him, he saw the light of the sun and heard the sounds of the forest. He was still sleepy, but he started the long climb up into the world that had been made for him. The Indians here used to say that the forest went on forever, was more infinite than the sky. We know differently. In a few thousand years, we've completely changed the natural living world that took millions of years to create. Even this dense jungle doesn't fool the experts.
We've been working in this area for some time, and we're slightly disappointed with it because it's largely secondary forest. It's a sort of happy accident between man and plant, where man has moved in and cleared small areas. So what we want to do is to get out of this area, get up onto a ridge over there, and have a look at the area as it really was before man started to alter it. And that's just where we're going now.
The world can't stand much more of man's alterations. Preservation might seem like a trendy business, but it's critical too. Every day, 20,000 acres of this forest are destroyed by farming and roads and industry. Every year, 70 million more people come into the world. If this goes on, we'll only have 2 square feet of planet each in a couple of hundred years to live on and eat off. Von Daniken says we're making a mess of the world because we don't really belong. We're truly aliens. That's another little proof of his. But it does some good if it can make us more aware of our problems. We don't know if we can ever make a success of living on this planet, no matter how we got here. Our man-made world is spreading. Are we here simply to turn the planet into one great city? If this really is the only living world, what on earth are we doing to it? Most people ignore the problems, but others find comfort believing in a future beyond our own little planet. They say our own space age is arriving just in time. Neil Armstrong blasted off in his rocket ship and became the first man to stand on our moon. That was the real start to our space age. It's only a matter of time until men from Earth begin to inhabit the universe. That's the most exciting truth of all. 10 years after his voyage, he is still someone really special. He can't stop us turning his private visit to the caves into a regal occasion.
Visiting Tito, I came to tell of my experiences. But this time, I come to learn.
We've come a long way since that first ancestor of ours picked up a club and decided to take charge. In the future, maybe the few thousand years that we've spent tied to the Earth will be forgotten in the generations of space voyaging that lie ahead. Maybe that's the way it happens. A planet makes a home for a race of men, and then, when they're ready, lets them loose into space. It's an exciting time for us, and the future promises to be even more exciting than even we can imagine. So, it makes sense that we found the first of our space-age legends right back in the Garden of Eden, or at least underneath the garden, in the caves that Juan Moritz found. The cavers named the largest chamber Stanley Hall, after their leader. Juan Moritz, still elusive and shy of the camera, insists that his revelations will one day change the world. He says he is busy translating his finds and will reveal all in 1980. Von Daniken still mumbles about it being the wrong caves, despite our photographic proof. He has, of course, found his own pot of gold. His books have sold over 15 million copies.
Well, this is a plaque that appears in Von Daniken's book. You can get some idea of the scale of it.
No.
This particular character here, I've noticed, appears on the cheek of Chief Mayambe, who is the military head of the Shuaras down near Las Cuevas de los Tallos.
Oiga, Polonicio, Shuara nothing.
No.
No hablar de Shuara.
No, Father Crespi said,
Babilonia,
It is
Egipto, Tierra del Fuego. La Shuara, otra película, yo he visto una gran película de los Shuara.
sí, padre.
Pero 400 y más
Sí.
copias. Todos lo han querido a esa, ¿no? De Washington, ¿no? La reina de Uber estaba, insomma, fuera. Pero la reina.
Padre Crespi's collection is still much of a mystery. Conventional archaeologists won't risk their reputations to come here and make sense of it all. No one will date his objects or attempt to translate the writings, and that helps to keep the legend of Los Tallos more or less intact. Legends are elusive things, even face to face. If they weren't, they wouldn't be legends.
Todo, libro de historia.
Contains some history of a previous civilization.
Wouldn't it be perfect if it was all written down for us? If those gods of ours had in fact left us all the answers, then we wouldn't need fancy theories and madmen and space-age fairy stories.
Eso sí de fotografiar.
And that's how the whole thing started. A few facts gleaned from modern science, a few wild suggestions offered as proven facts, and a world full of people desperate for something to believe in. The icing on the cake is the neat way that the Holy Bible is given a place of honor in the catalogue of proofs. It is claimed that in the Old Testament, Ezekiel, the prophet, was actually one of the first people to experience a close encounter of that famous third kind. Listen to this.
When men had begun to be plentiful on the earth, the sons of God, looking at the daughters of men, saw that they were pleasing, and resorted to them, and had children by them. These are the heroes of days gone by, the famous men. As I looked, behold, a stormy wind came out of the north, and a great cloud with brightness round about it, and a fire flashing forth continually, and in the midst of the fire, as it were gleaming bronze.
At first I didn't believe what I was seeing, and I called out to Stan, and we stood on the porch together, and we both watched it. You could make out a round outline moving slowly over the roof of the garage. The red glow was coming from beneath the thing, from the center. It just sat there for about 5 minutes. We were too scared to move.
And when the living creatures rose from the earth, the wheels rose, for the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. And when they went, I heard the sound of their wings, like the sound of many waters, like the thunder of the Almighty. And when I saw it, I fell upon my face, and I heard the voice of one that spoke.
I don't think the world's at all a special place. It's quite possible this type of world could occur elsewhere. There's no reason why not. Statistically, I think it's probable, as far as I remember. But it's just a series of coincidences, really. It started all off. It's built up into a very complex system. I guess that's what most of the scientists here are trying to look into. But I don't think there's anything particularly special about it, or unique even.
The world may not be unique, but we're the first generation to realize it. It helps loosen another tie between us and our forefathers. 20 years ago, the Shuara Indians around the caves were still living their old-style life. Savage headhunters who had terrorized the Amazon for centuries. Now, for better or for worse, things have changed. We know them, and they've gotten to know us. The same thing happens all over the world. So, even as we come and go on this planet, getting to know each other a little better, learning to live with one another just a little more readily. Maybe it's simply a big rehearsal for the future we'll all have beyond this planet, and for the meetings that could await us. Maybe we'll be the gods in spacesuits. Now wouldn't that make the legend of Los Daños really worthwhile?
There's an awful lot to be learned, and also science changes very much. It's not a matter of just learning things and then that's it. The way you look at things keeps changing, so you want to know new things.
Ya.